We've been keeping a huge secret, and today we're finally ready to share it. Over the past few years, life has taken us on quite a journey. We sold our very first home, full of memories, and jumped headfirst into renovating a project house that turned out to be much more than we ever bargained for. It tested us, it pushed us, but it also taught us so much about resilience and what really matters. We thought we'd settle there, but life clearly had bigger plans for us. And then came Iceland, a trip that wasn't just a trip, it was an adventure that shifted our perspective. Standing among glaciers and volcanoes, we realised how much we craved a life built around exploration, freedom, and the outdoors. That moment sparked the next step in our journey. The more we travelled, the more we realised we wanted something different. The Land Rover Defender had always been a dream, a vehicle tough enough to take us down the road less travelled, and one that would let us see the world from a unique perspective. So when we came across this 1998 Defender, it felt like the perfect fit for the kind of adventures we craved. Our VW transporter had been amazing to us. We'd taken it on countless adventures across Poland, Austria, and so many more places. But over time, we started to feel its limits. Space, capability, and the kind of ruggedness we needed for bigger journeys just wasn't there. The Defender, we built it different. It was raw, capable, and full of potential. Turning it into an overland camper was a challenge, but every cut, modification, and every trip brought us closer to building not just a camper, but a way of life. February this year was our turning point. After years of dreaming, we finally decided it was time to act, to stop waiting for one day and make it today. We made the bold choice to sell our house, and with it, almost everything we owned. Letting go of the familiar wasn't easy, but the pull of a new chapter was stronger. It was a mix of excitement and fear, a leap into the unknown. But deep down, we knew this was the life we were chasing. A life of freedom, of adventure, of building memories. This was the moment everything changed, the moment we stepped fully into the journey ahead.
So, after 6 months of selling everything we own, we have packed our entire life into these two vehicles. Feels real now.
Yeah, it feels real. So where are we heading? Well, after months of planning, dreaming, and letting go, the answer is finally here. So where are we going?
Well, we did leave England.
We left England, we have not yet returned, and that's because
We are moving to
Scotland! We're officially moving to Scotland, a place that already feels like home, with landscapes that have shaped some of our favourite memories and endless new ones waiting to be made. Scotland has always pulled us back, and now we're ready to fully embrace it. Nothing went to plan, but maybe that's the beauty of it all. We had this vision, a clear idea of how things were supposed to unfold. The house was sold, we had our next project lined up, and everything felt like it was finally coming together. But life had other plans. What started as a simple move turned into something completely unexpected. full of challenges, changes, and a few moments that really tested us. And yet, through it all, something amazing happened. We realised that sometimes the best adventures are the ones you never plan for. So here's how it all unfolded, how we sold our home, left England behind, and started a brand new chapter in Scotland.
Girl.
So, we're packing the landy, right?
We're going to chuck some boxes in.
Why are we packing the landy?
Because we're moving house.
Yes, we're packing the landy officially. Last time we're going to pack it from here. Okay, so I thought it was about time to update you with our next chapter and the journey up to Scotland, because we hit a few hurdles along the way. So I'm going to jump, make a cup of coffee, and then we'll get right into it. So I'm going to make a coffee on my new little gadget, which is the AeroPress, and then I'll tell you all about it. Coffee's made, so let's get into it. So the journey up here was pretty eventful. We had a couple of hiccups along the way. So the first one was we had a breakdown, and it's not with the vehicle that you would expect. So Brandon and we left our house on the Saturday with everything packed in both of our vehicles. I was driving the VW Transporter, Brandon was driving the Landy. And we were making the drive from Yorkshire up to Scotland, which where we were heading was about 7 or 8 hours. And we got about 3-4 hours into the journey, and that's when we had a warning light pop on the dash of the Transporter. And it was due to heating. It was overheating, and the coolant was pressurising quite badly. We took a little look under the bonnet, and it was very clear that the radiator in the van was gone. It had been on its deathbed for a while, let's put it that way. So we had no choice but to break down, and thankfully they were pretty quick. The whole thing was resolved in half an hour. They come along, determined that they couldn't fix it, obviously they needed new parts and things like that. So it had to be kind of towed to a garage of our choice. So we found a garage up in Scotland where we were heading. We thought perfect. We'd already spoken to them a little bit anyway. Now, because it was such a long distance, it was still kind of 4 hours of the journey left to go, they said that they can't tow it today. It'll have to be another day and kind of in their own time. So it got put into a police storage unit in Glasgow. We moved a few things around, waved the van goodbye for a few days, and all piled into the Land Rover for the second leg of the journey up to Scotland. It wasn't the most comfortable trip with the 3D printer on my lap and everything else tightly packed in, but it was definitely exciting. We first headed off to drop our things with some friends before spending the week in the Land Rover exploring Scotland. So the first hurdle wasn't really a problem, you know, things happen when you're on a road trip and you just kind of got to overcome it. That was fine. And we was going to spend the week up in Scotland, camping in the landy. All our stuff was kind of dropped off at friends and it was all going to be landy dandy, beautiful. Over the last 6 months we've been planning and preparing for another project. So we were going to buy something else up in Scotland, another property up in Scotland, to do up and create this beautiful cabin hideaway, not only for us to kind of retreat from on our adventures, but also Airbnb it out so other people can come up to Scotland and enjoy it as well. However, we were due to complete on that Friday, but everything fell through. Now, I don't like using the term fell through because technically it didn't fall through. We had to withdraw our offer on the property because the seller was kind of keeping back really important information about the property and it just wasn't right for us. So our whole world kind of turned around, turned upside down, I suppose. And it sounds a bit dramatic, but when you've been preparing for something and planning for something for so long and you make kind of a drastic move up to Scotland, even though it's only 8 hours, you know, when you're fixated on something, it does turn your world a bit upside down and kind of throws you off and it messes your game up and you think the worst, you think what you're going to do now. So that's what happened and it was all a bit chaotic, but we managed to get things sorted, which is why we're so chilled now by the coast, which is fab. So this all happened on Friday. I'm now recording this a week later, so this was a week ago, just because over the past week, don't get me wrong, it's actually been pretty epic up here in Scotland, but it has been exhausting trying to navigate what direction we're taking next. And we think we've kind of got our feet in a good position now. We know kind of where we're heading and we will be sharing all of that very soon. But for now, we're going to be enjoying Scotland and in the Land Rover, and we're going to be taking you along on our adventures up here. But next job is to go to the storage unit. Where are we?
On the road that Google Maps took us on.
So we've come down, basically tonight we've travelled from the coast up inland, ready to go to the storage unit tomorrow, and it's brought us down this kind of forestry track following Google Maps, and we drove this way, like to where we were going to go, following the maps. We got to the end and the gate was closed. I can see the gate is open.
Gate's open.
I think so, yeah. Yeah, so we drove all down this forestry track and got to the other end and the gate was closed. So we just had to reverse our tracks back to see if the gate is open.
I don't want you to go that way though. Let's go left up here.
Why is she trying to take us down all the forestry roads?
Yeah, back the way we came.
That gate looks open. So it's been a bit of an eventful little drive through the forest on these forest tracks. Luckily we can get out though. So this is where we parked up tonight. The other side of the forest, so the forest was trying to bring us, well the track was trying to bring us through the forest. But yeah, this is where we parked up. Absolutely beautiful. Just got the sun on those trees. So I think we're just gonna get set up, ready, cook some dinner, and then we've got an early start tomorrow morning to go to the storage unit, which actually isn't too far from here. But look at it, looks stunning. So tonight we are cooking up some steaks. The burner is going nicely. We've got some asparagus to go with it, and we've got some potatoes, and then got this little sauce as well. So I'm just cooking up the asparagus first, and these pans, this one is used and abused, but these Ridge Monkey pans are absolutely brilliant if you've not heard of them. Just doing this left-handed, but look at that. We have had this one years now. So it's a rainy morning this morning. We're up nice and early, made a coffee, and we are heading to the storage unit. So done all the checks, the Landy is ready to go. And yeah, just gonna get packed in, and the storage unit is about 5 minutes away. So we're gonna go and see if we can actually get one. So let's head off. Turn on screen. Should we get ourselves a storage unit?
Let's go get a storage unit.
So we're at the lot 1. All these units are full. So we're being guided to the second lot. Gets me excited for shipping a vehicle somewhere. So you. So off we go to the second lot. We're following this little Corsa in front. There we go. That's a shortbread biscuit warehouse. We've got our storage unit. It's very easy to get and set up. Absolutely enormous.
Way too big.
We've not got a lot of stuff at all, but now we're all set up. Perfect storage unit. We're going to go get our stuff from our friends, convoy, bring it back, get it loaded up. Let's go. So we have picked the van up, picked all our stuff up from our friends, and we are heading back to the storage unit. That's it really. We'll pick you up when we get to the storage unit, and yeah. So we have packed all our stuff into the storage locker, and it's time to get it shut up and move on with the chapter. Crack on with the journey ahead. So there we go. That's it. 2 vehicles emptied. On with the journey. Life in Scotland right now, especially in autumn, feels like a dream, painted in golds, reds and deep greens. We're working remotely, making plans for future adventures and expeditions, thinking about our next base and navigating what comes next. It's overwhelming at times dealing with all these changes and living on the road, but it's also incredibly exciting. Wild camping under open skies, embracing off-grid life and soaking in every moment. It's a mix of freedom, uncertainty and possibility. We're deeply grateful to everyone supporting our journey, following along and sharing in these adventures. Your encouragement makes it all the more meaningful. So here's to new beginnings, embracing uncertainty and chasing what matters most. Stay tuned, tag along and let's see where the road and the Landy take us next.